Looks like Meta is going to go through a massive round of layoffs, the largest layoffs in company history, as far as I can tell. It looks like 20% of Meta's workforce is going to be fired. We're looking at about 16,000 jobs terminated. Why? Guys, AI is impacting the job force at an alarming rate. But in Meta's case, it's a little bit different than you might expect. Today, we're going to cover exactly what we know about Meta's plans to lay off people for AI. And I covered this in a video about a week ago when we were looking at the February jobs report, and this was pretty staggering to me. There's this kind of two different schools of thought. One school of thought is that every job's gonna be replaced, and the other school of thought is that AI won't replace any jobs. But when we look at the reasons why companies are laying off people, 2 years ago, AI was credited with 2 to 3% of layoffs. Last year, 5% of layoffs were attributed to AI. This year so far, 10% of layoffs are attributed to AI. And Meta is following that. And again, seeing what's happening at Meta would not be a surprise to you if you've been subscribed to the channel. We've been covering how AI is impacting the workforce for just about a year now, 6 days a week. And you guys know, it's always amazing to me when I go to a party or I go to a baseball event or I'm talking to people, they're like, really? People are being laid off for AI? It's like, where are you? This is coming. This is coming to a workforce near you. Anyways, a couple months ago, the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, said, quote, "Projects that used to require big teams now can be accomplished by a single, very talented person." I'm gonna repeat that one more time because this is kind of shocking. Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, he said, "Projects that used to require big teams now can be accomplished by a single, very talented person," end quote. But the reality, guys, is that Meta is not alone. Amazon just went through a firing of 30,000 corporate executives, white-collar employees. The same guys who a couple years ago were telling truckers to learn to code are now out on the streets because of artificial intelligence and how it's impacting the world over at Amazon. We covered that. I'll put a link to the video here. We covered that as that story evolved and continues to evolve. Oracle doing the same exact thing. A couple months ago, we reported that Oracle is going to be laying off 30,000 employees. I'll post a link to that video here too, because what Oracle is doing is it kind of opened my eyes to the new way that AI is replacing jobs, not necessarily just by using AI agents, but we'll cover that in just a moment. But if you want to see the whole story, you can check that out here. But now, I'm shocked to see that some reports are showing that the layoffs at Oracle could be as high as 45,000 jobs. It's still speculative, so I'm still kind of waiting to see that layout. I try to report on stories that look at least somewhat corroborated. But in any event, we reported that it's going to be 30,000. Now it looks like it's going to be close to 45,000. I remember at the time when we reported and we were talking about this in the channel. By the way, we have the best community, guys, in the comments. It's unbelievable. At the time, people were saying, oh, it's not gonna be 30,000. Where are you getting your sources? Well, it turns out it's probably gonna be closer to 45,000. So I feel pretty good about the quality control that goes into the channel. And if I get it wrong, I make corrections. You guys know that. Anyways, what do these three companies have in common? Guys, they need to offset massive capital expenditure is the problem that they have in common. Right now, all three of these companies are putting in tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars into AI infrastructure over the upcoming years. And they need a way to free up capital. So there's two things that are happening here. A, they're spending obscene amounts of money on AI infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, data centers, et cetera, new software. But they're also planning to be much more efficient with their workforce, laying out AI agents. Just like Mark said, we used to need a whole team to produce a product. Now we feel like we can do it with one very talented person. That is the future. One very talented person, one huge data center powering that person. It's so crazy what's happening right now. And I've said this time and time again, guys, 2026 is the year that, at least for me, 2026 is the year that we stop looking at AI as a tool and we start looking at AI as an employee. I know that I have AI employees doing all sorts of different things for me now. I'm covering it in my newsletter. I've been reporting kind of what I'm finding. I'm using Claude Cowork specifically is where most of my focus is. Integrating Claude Cowork into various parts of the tech stack. I'll talk about that a little bit more in this video, but you can check all that out on my newsletter, aiupdate.ai. In fact, today I just said, hey guys, I'm gonna send out, if you want, I'll send out all of the research and analytics that Claude Cowork did on my YouTube channel, which has been growing about 10 to 15% month over month. So I was doing some work, doing some research, doing some strategy with Claude Cowork, and it pulled out some really, really interesting stuff. If you're interested in that, subscribe to the newsletter, and that's the easiest way to kind of get in touch with me. Anyway, I digress. So all three of these companies are trying to automate jobs with AI agents. All three of these companies need to free up capital because they're spending so much on AI investment. Meta, by the way, just to give you some numbers, Meta has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in signing bonuses for AI talent. It's kind of funny to me. It's really revenge of the nerds right now because you know, if you're good with AI, you could get paid exponentially more than LeBron James in a year, which is pretty insane. You could be the best basketball player in the world and thinking, wow, I wish I was in AI because I can make a lot more money, which is pretty insane. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, and we've covered some of those signing bonuses. Additionally, they have announced plans, Meta has announced plans to invest $600 billion in data centers over the next several years. $600 billion in data centers, almost $1 trillion they're putting into AI data centers. It's absolutely bananas. Earlier this week, by the way, Facebook or Meta also acquired Moltbook, which we've covered a little bit. We haven't covered Moltbook a lot, but Moltbook is a social media platform for AI agents. Think Facebook, but not for humans. It's for AI agents. And we kind of covered this a little bit. I'm not gonna go too far into detail, but we covered what happened with OpenClaw. OpenClaw is essentially a framework that allows you to leverage different AI tools and automate these tools within your workspace, kind of like Claude Cowork, but it's open source, fully produced on GitHub. I won't go into that. You can check out this video where I talk more about what's happening with OpenClaw. Anyway, during the OpenClaw project, somehow these OpenClaw AI agents decided we're just gonna make our own social media channel where we can talk to each other. Facebook, or Meta acquired Moltbook, which I think is another interesting play. We're in this kind of period of time, guys, where we just don't know exactly what's going to happen. But we do know is big companies like Meta, like Amazon, like Oracle, like Google, all these companies, what do they have in common? They want to make AI agents a central part of their workforce. And you know, you could say, oh, they just hate humans, they're all about, and I can kind of get that, right? What I will say though is that, again, you're laying off 20% of your workforce, that frees up a lot of capital to innovate and try new things. And that's what these guys are doing. Generally, within a business or within an organization, humans, your employees, are going to be about 60% of your expense. So imagine you're able to lower that expense by 20%. That frees up a lot of capital in a time where a lot of banks, a lot of lenders are starting to get cold feet on lending. They just don't know if they're going to get the return on investment back from all this AI expenditure. It's kind of a bet that they're just not sure about. So what are companies doing? They're saying, let's free up capital. We'll fire a bunch of people. That frees up billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars in some cases to implement. Now, from a personal standpoint, guys, I gotta say, I'm kind of buying into this idea that our teams are gonna be much leaner overall. It's starting at the top of these big organizations. This is going to trickle down to smaller organizations. If you're subscribed to the channel, you already know a little bit about my story, but one of my main focuses right now is doing the marketing and customer acquisition for a SaaS company. We've been able to boost the SaaS's annual recurring revenue from 3 million ARR up to nearly 4 million ARR. And I was talking to the CTO the other day who's had exits from a few companies. And he explained that he's using Claude to write code. He's using Claude Code to write code, and it's completely transformed the way that he thinks about hiring. He doesn't know that he's going to need to hire programmers anymore. Instead, he needs to hire ways and people to help help him with the overwhelm of the cognitive load, because now he's handling all this higher level strategy. He's hiring more for middle management, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. And me, like I mentioned, I'm working with Claude Cowork, and it acts like an employee on its own. It's analyzing large, complex data sets. It's putting together strategies. It's putting together content plans. It's writing copy. It's looking for trends. It's doing competitor research. And, if you've never experienced this before, I've played with AI agents over the past 6 months or so. It's kind of an eye-popping moment where you just tell the software, the AI agent, what you want it to do, and it just pops open a screen on your computer, and it starts telling you what it's doing. It starts clicking around. It starts opening tabs. It starts double-clicking to certain places. It starts downloading spreadsheets. It is, again, guys, I'm kind of in this place right now where I've got an old computer that's still powerful enough. I'm probably gonna fire it back up, put a monitor on it, and that's gonna be my Claude Cowork computer. I'm just gonna have it go to work. It's gonna perform tasks for me. In the past, these are jobs that I would have hired people to help me with. And now I don't need to do it anymore. Claude Cowork even connects to Gmail, so I can have it, and to Slack, so I can have it blast out content plans, calendar. I'm leading a team of about 5 to, actually it's closer to 10 people, but within one company, I'm leading a team of about 5 different content creators, social media managers, email newsletter writers. Claude Cowork is going to really bring synergy into all of our efforts there. I'm just really shocked. And I tell you what, not to make this all about me, what's happening at Meta, they see it too. Now, it is important to note that Meta hasn't officially confirmed the 20% number yet. And in fact, a Meta spokesperson, Andy Stone, said, quote, "This is speculative reporting about theoretical approaches." But when there's smoke, there's fire. I'm pretty convinced that this move will happen. Will it be exactly 20%? We don't know yet. My guess is it could be even more based on what we're seeing in the marketplace. So regardless of the official report, a massive layoff like this makes perfect sense based on the time we're in. And I also want to just reaffirm it's not just all doom and gloom. We're going through a very experimental, volatile time. Guys, we do not know what AI is going to do, and it makes mistakes. By the way, just like humans, one of the things that I hear people say is, well, AI just makes mistakes and it's too untrustworthy. And like, have you ever worked with a human being before? Have you? I've worked with dozens and dozens as a leader and as a business owner, and they are not always predictable, and they get things wrong, and I have to double check them, and I have to do quality control, and they're slow, and they're unpredictable, and they call out, and they don't turn work in on time, and An AI agent is similar in a lot of ways. It has strengths, it has weaknesses. But regardless, one of the things that we saw this week that we covered was an Amazon outage. Amazon was down, and part of the theory there is that bad coding led to bad results. I'll post a link to it there. Is it possible that we could be looking at some sort of SaaS-pocalypse where all these software companies that move too fast into AI get all this crazy code and it screws up their infrastructure? Maybe. It's also possible that a lot of people are going to get laid off, and the employer is going to, they're going to regret it. They're going to say, "Hoops, I shouldn't have laid off these people. We need them back." So what I'm saying is this: just because you get laid off, just because you're in a tough job market, it doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. We're in a very weird experimental time. And you don't want to start burning bridges when something bad happens. In fact, you want to do the opposite, because there are going to be tremendous opportunities for the guys that are adapting and learning these new tools. So the two biggest pieces of advice I can get when it comes to this crazy AI career ladder world that we're in is relationships matter. Your relationships matter more now than perhaps ever in human history. The people you know are really going to impact your ability to get hired. The percentage chance of getting an interview at a job right now, exponentially higher if you know someone, know people, make phone calls, DM your friends, like keep it real. And the second thing is that AI literacy is key. I'll tell you this, I will not hire someone that is not AI literate. If someone doesn't know how to use AI tools well, if someone, in moving forward, if someone doesn't know how to leverage AI coworkers, it's going to be very difficult for them to get hired. You need to be AI literate. And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to sell you a course. I probably will put together a workshop or a course once I really have a firm grip on Claude Cowork. But regardless of that, just experiment for yourselves now, guys. It's not too late. There will be opportunities, but you need to have relationships and you need to be AI literate. It is absolutely crucial. And even if you don't believe in it, even if you think it's all smoke and mirrors, just look at what's happening at these companies. They are spending hundreds of billions of dollars, in some cases, hundreds of billions of dollars on AI infrastructure, hundreds of millions of dollars on employees and teams. It is the focus. So even if you're not fully 100% on board, just understand that being aligned with the companies that you want to work with, the clients you want to work with, you need to know what problems they want to have solved, and you need to know how to solve them. All right, boys, have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash like, smash subscribe. If you liked today's video, you will love yesterday's video where we talk about another company that went through a massive layoff due to, you guessed it, AI. It is here, and it's exciting, it's terrifying at the same time. Anyway, check it out. I'll see you there, boys. See ya. Peace.